Alright, so the monthly report. Go ahead, Camille.
There is no Japanese problem on the coast. There will be no armed uprising of Japanese. There will undoubtedly be some sabotage financed by Japan and executed largely by imported agents. In each naval district, there are about 250 to 300 suspects under surveillance. It is easy to get on the suspect list. Merely a speech in favor of Japan at some banquet being sufficient to land one there. The intelligence services are generous with the type of suspects and are taking no chances. Privately, they believe that only 50 or 60 in each district can be classed as really dangerous. The Japanese are hampered as saboteurs because of their easily recognized physical appearance. It will be hard for them to get near anything to blow up if it is guarded. There is far more danger from communists and people of the richest type on the coast than there is from Japanese. The Japanese here is almost exclusively a farmer, a fisherman, or a small businessman. He has no entrees, plants, or intricate machinery.
Thank you, Camille. Alright, so what date did we get for this report?
November 7th, 1941.
November 7th, 1941. Why is that date important?
Because it's also
Anybody? What's that? The day it was delivered? Okay, what else? What happened a month later? Exactly.
Japan bombed U.S. ships and planes on the shore.
Pearl Harbor, right? So the fact that the monthly report saying that there's no Japanese problem, right? The U.S. is already, well, there's no Japanese problem on the West Coast, right? These people are just workers and this and that, right? A month before, Japanese actually bombed Pearl Harbor, so obviously things get switched around, after that bomb. All right, so what kind of evidence, or not evidence, reasons did we find that the Japanese might be interned because of this report?
There are, they
Go ahead,
believe,
last one. Go ahead.
privately they believe that only 50 to 60 in each district can be classified as really dangerous.
All right, so they're classifying a certain number of Japanese that could be dangerous. Where did they classify those from? How could they classify? What did the report say? Camille, go ahead.
Their appearance?
Okay, their appearance, but what else? What were they doing? Yeah.
Their access to like our machinery and stuff.
Yeah, they had access because of the work they did, right? And they had surveillance over how many of them already? 250, 300, right? So they're watching them as they work on these, machines or whatever it was. So from their surveillance, they thought, well, maybe 50 to 60 could be, doing something fishy or something wrong. So they checked it, all right? All right, now let's move to document C. I'll read the excerpt and then who want to read? Alan? All right. So the following excerpt is from an additional editorial published in The Crisis. Shortly after the establishment of internment camps for Japanese Americans, founded in 1910, The Crisis is the official magazine of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, otherwise known as the NAACP, an organization dedicated to promoting civil rights. Alan, go ahead.
Along the eastern coast of the United States, where the numbers of Americans of Japanese ancestry is comparatively small, no concentration camps have been established. From a military point of view, the only danger on this coast is from Germany and Italy, but the American government has not taken any such high-handed action against Germans and Italians and their American-born descendants on the East Coast, as has been taken against Japanese and their American-born descendants on the West Coast. Germans and Italians are white. Color seems to be the only possible reason why thousands of American citizens of Japanese ancestry are in concentration camps. Anyways, there are no Italian American or German American citizens in such camps.
Thank you, Alan. So what date do we have for this?
September 1942.
1942, right? That's when it was written in the paper. Very good. All right, so what kind of reasons did we find in this document for Japanese being interned?
Because the Japanese,
What?
they have color. The Japanese who are
So
so
it
they
becomes kind of a racist issue, right? Because of the color of the skin. It says they weren't white. What's another reason? What's kind of that argument that Harry Patrick Howard is writing about. What's he saying about the East Coast?
Is that German, Italy, or more with that?
Very good, at least he's right. On the East Coast, we're closer to what? Europe, Germany, Italian, but there's a bunch of German Americans, Italian Americans on the East Coast, but they're not being interned. They're only the Japanese are being interned on the West Coast because, like I said, because of color, because of the color of their skin. So it kind of starts with the racist issue, but then we look at where this figure come from. You know, NAACP, Advancement for Colored People. It's not just African Americans, but all people of color, which they're trying to advance. So very good. The fact that their skin color could be another reason why the Japanese were actually interned in camps. Very good. All right, so I got the internet to work, so we're going to go back to round one and watch the newsreel. It's about 9 minutes. I really want you guys to look at this newsreel and think about what it is, right? The government-based thing back then, you know, when the news was on, it was on before, you know, motion pictures, so a lot of it was seen at theaters. It wasn't TV or even internet computers yet, so sometimes this would be, you know, played before a movie as a chance to promote what? What do you think they're promoting?
The war.
The war, but in what way? What were they, you know,
Propaganda.
propaganda, right? Propaganda about what the government wanted to do, the government wanted. So it's about 9 minutes, I'll play, and then we'll talk about it.